Elijah, thanks
Hey.
very much for taking the time out to speak to me.
Yeah.
So, how's work?
Works fine.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask that at the beginning of an interview.
That's awesome. What a way to start. Just like at something that can have no real answer. Works.
Yeah.
Good.
For people who aren't familiar with Cooties, can you tell me a little bit about the plot?
Sure. And I'll take it back even further. So the notion of Cooties, the movie is sort of an extrapolation on this idea, which is it's reasonably familiar here, I think, in the UK. It's sort of a universal thing, but it's this notion of young kids who haven't gone through puberty feeling like there are germs being spread amongst the opposite sex, right? And so my producing partner, Josh, had this idea to turn that into a zombie virus or a zombie-like virus. So effectively, that's what Cooties is in our film. It's a foodborne virus that affects kids who haven't gone through puberty and turns them into savages.
I have a teacher called Clint who hasn't read the book Christine, or I assume seen the movie.
Correct.
As an actor,
Yeah.
are there any films that you really should have seen, but you haven't?
Oh, there's plenty. Yeah, plenty.
Any you're just like too ashamed to say right now on camera?
No. Find a... never seen On the Waterfront. I've not seen a single Kurosawa film. These are embarrassing admissions, but I'm comfortable.
Okay.
I've never seen The Seventh Seal.
I mean, these aren't like
Never.
completely like billion-dollar movies, so I
No,
feel
but
like
these
it's
are
okay. I mean,
in the
they
world of
are
cinema.
on
They're
the
pretty
waterfront.
important. They're
Yeah.
pretty important,
It's
especially
great time.
Kurosawa. Like Hidden Fortress has had a huge influence on Star Wars, amongst many other films. Ingmar Bergman's films are hugely influential. These are all movies that, like, in film school, you'd be required to see.
You can send Elijah your DVDs.
I'll rectify it soon. There's also a lot of Westerns. I have a huge Western gap as well. There's a lot of Westerns I've never seen.
Okay. Making a movie that's a zombie film and an action film and including kids, I imagine must have been sort of a difficult task to pull off because there's so much that can go wrong.
Sure.
What was it in this film that was really like your big headache?
Yeah, I suppose anything that was with the kids became the more complicated stuff. Getting a large group of kids to behave properly as savages and sort of zombies wasn't easy. And there are big sequences, kind of action sequences, that were a bit complicated. There's a sort of major battle scene that happens towards the end of the film that we shot in the course of an evening that was very difficult. Very difficult, logistically.
I can imagine you and Rain and Alison by the service table just really stressing out because you don't want to punch a child by accident.
Well, thankfully, that night, we were fighting. They weren't kids. They were very small adults.
Nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
it was a little easier.
Production company's been around for 5 years now. What kind of movies do you like making? Do you love making? And can we expect from your production company in the future?
Well, our aim was to initially produce horror and genre films. So it'll always be genre, even if we're sort of pushing the bounds of what people consider horror and genre films. Our aim is to be a space for extrapolating on dark genre themes.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was it about the idea of Cooties that really took a hold in your mind and made you go forward with it?
Oh, it's just a pretty brilliant idea. It's taking the notion of Cooties and turning it into a zombie virus, and it's a comedy. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We were really shocked that there wasn't a movie in the 70s or 80s, like an exploitation movie or like a trauma film called Cooties, that had the same idea. So we were just thrilled that it was somehow an original concept. And then once the idea got communicated to Lee Wanell, who wrote Saw and Insidious, we were just so thrilled at the prospect of what the film could become.
I imagine you had to watch a lot of zombie movies to prepare for Cooties.
Well, yeah, I think we were all raised on zombie films, especially Lee, and I don't know to a certain degree if Ian Brennan, who co-created Glee, is less of a horror film fan. But yeah, Lee knows his horror films, so in terms of any kind of zombie references, it was probably just in his blood.
Yeah. What do you hope audiences take away from the film when they go and see it?
Just to have a really killer time at the movies. It's a ridiculous concept. It's really funny. It's often horrific and hopefully terrifying. But more than anything, it's really funny. So I just hope people have a good time.